segue. That one seems relevant to what we're doing.
We got a good one segue in here.
Yeah.
Saint 53. Thank you so much,
What does
Saint.
it say?
Saint has this to say. Even if Superman 2025 didn't hit it for you, it feels good to see DC getting a general win after being stomped on by Marvel for 10 years.
I suppose so.
It does feel good to have, and I won't even compare it to Marvel. I just feel good to have a DC movie get a win because I feel like even when Aquaman made $1 billion, no one really celebrated. It was just like, oh, it's crazy, it made $1 billion. Like, they didn't have a sense of joy. There is an absolute joyousness to Superman's victories to me.
Yeah, well, especially for true comic book fans, I think there's a lot of resonates a lot with the feeling of it is one of those movies where the emotion overpowers a lot of the criticism for many people. Not everyone, obviously, but for many people. And that's kind of what counts. And you see it. I really do believe results is the name of the game. And in a time when the theatrical window is struggling, it's when you're seeing how well Superman is actually doing domestically and how it consistently does well, and people are excited about the future of it, it's a really big win for them.
It's also the most I've seen a movie ever affect the comic book industry.
Yeah.
Ever. Like of any Marvel, DC, anything. Like it is people going to the comic store.
Yeah.
And that's been amazing. At Comic-Con, I heard people going like, oh, I like the Superman movie. What should I buy? To vendors. It was incredible.
Yeah, especially because it seems truly inspired and based on the comics that people want to get more of it now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I do liken it to how like TikTok has weirdly caused a resurgence of like they have book talk. And I think in some way that kind of feeds the cycle a little bit more of people wanting the source material.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Superman saga, Corey.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, I read Superman Woman of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And while Supergirl will clearly be a strong inspiration of that, Lobo's not in it. So they're definitely going to do their own mixture of stuff.
He was in the original draft. They took him out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tom King had Lobo in a version before it went to press. So Tom King had originally had an element that had, I think it was going to be a longer series, but he had wanted Lobo in it, and he actually credits the editor for taking him out, so it's more of her story. But he loves Lobo, so he is glad they didn't have him in the comic, but he's very glad he's come back in the movie because that was his original idea.
Okay, cool.
Just a fun fact.
So that plot is going to be new for this. And recently I read a run, the Jeff Johns run of Superman Brainiac, which it's co-led by Superman and Supergirl.
Yeah.
And in that narrative, Brainiac is the one responsible for the Krypton destruction. And Kara is extremely traumatized at the very idea of Brainiac coming in and having to contend with that. I feel like if you're doing the Superman saga, if you're leading to like what was the one potential one they were talking about? The Super Family was the big rumor
he's
going
just
on?
been saying Super Family, but I think that's not the I think he's been vague and people took it as like.
Yeah, I think that would be the best run where you can get, because what was cool about, and also in that run, Superman and Lois are already together like how they are in the movie.
Yeah.
And it seems like it would be the perfect way to introduce Brainiac that would also not just be, we need the super people to team up, but have it be a personal linkage, because we don't exactly know what happened to Krypton. So I suspect that in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, they will take the version of Brainiac destroying Krypton. That way it's something more personal rather than like, there's a problem with our planet, you know?
Yeah.
And I think they'll adapt all that because there's this one chapter in all the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow that does do the whole backstory of what happened and how long she was there for and witnessing the amount of death. So you see why she's all messed up and why she needs to escape with alcoholism and stuff. I think this would just be that cool added layer that would actually make it personal if they were to do a team-up movie with Supergirl. I feel like it's inevitable that they would do a Superman and a Supergirl team-up movie. And if they do have, and to do that story of Brainiac coming in where Superman's trying to defeat Brainiac, but it's also about Kara having to face her trauma against the thing that caused the destruction of her home planet, I feel like it would just be a really strong narrative, and I think that is the direction they would go.
I think not only are you 100% right, but I don't know because I haven't had any sort of knowledge about this. This isn't coming from me knowing anything, but
Sure.
I think it's also a matter of James wanting to include certain characters, and this is such a genius way to do escalation narratively.
Yeah.
Like you talk about inevitably Superman and Supergirl teaming up. That story, especially the Jeff Johns Brainiac take, is so specifically an escalation from where we exactly are. I think
Yeah.
you're totally right. I think James thinks in arcs. I think that describes a saga. I think that allows things to move forward and be a sequel to both Superman and Supergirl in a very natural way. I think progressing the House of L is a really smart thing to show the strength of DC, not as just Batman's friends. Like, I think it's really smart to triple down and have that be a narrative through line. If you look at the original Marvel Phase 1, Iron Man did well. Iron Man 2 happened very quickly. I think if DC focuses on the super side of things and makes it a very clear standout, that'd be very smart. I think Brainiac is a character they have had in pre-production for 5 different goddamn movies. Like, we've been so close to Brainiac so long, I think it even makes sense from that standpoint. He's the villain I wanted in the first film. I'm actually glad they didn't, because I am glad we got to meet Superman longer, and the villain was not as big of a deal to explain because Lex Luthor makes sense. We get Lex Luthor. Brainiac we've never had in a theatrical film. I want him like to get his time. If we've got it as a sequel to Supergirl, we establish the trauma. We, as a sequel to Superman, we understand the whole world of him. It's perfect. I completely agree. I think it's coming.
And another thing too, and that it just dawned on me, is that he has that thing where Brainiac likes to collect things from planets and many different versions of the comics. And then he has a room of like orbs that lets you access stuff. And I think that's a section where he could access being able to talk to some version of Jor-El.
Ooh, that's fun.
And I think that you could actually get some real answers there. I think that would just be so cool. I
think Kandor's coming.
Oh, really?
Kandor, the small city.
Yeah.
I think that might be what we get after the movie.
Is that what was in the comic? I can't remember which one.
The city of Kandor is that miniaturized city.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool if he saves that, brings it to the fortress, and he has a pit of Krypton with him. That'll give him some closure. Because the first film will be about him realizing his family is who he's had all along, Ma and Pa Kent. Second film, discovering his heritage, and then he brings Kandor back to the fortress, and that makes him Superman. That brings his two worlds together. That's what I would do at the end of it.
Oh, man.
Because then the end is mirroring the end of the first film, like him looking up and seeing Earthbound. The second film could be looking down at Kandor. So you've got up and then down, and you've got the fortress being his place of solitude.
What do you feel about him calling it the Superman saga? Is that something he sounded like he was just telling himself? Like, that's what I'm just calling it, but it's not the official title of what he's proceeding with.
I mean, this is Gods and Monsters as a unit. I don't think that the Superman saga is going to be the film name, or do I think it's going to be like... We didn't designate Iron Man as a separate thing. I think it's just like he said Superman family, and I was like, that's not the name. It's just involving super people. And to me, Superman Saga is another one of those. It could end up being, the box set name, but I don't think it's ever going to be a necessary designation because I don't think it's going to separate from the DCU.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? Like, I could see the box of it. Like, he could imagine the trilogy of Superman, Supergirl, that as Superman Saga, or like Super Saga, but I don't know if it's going to be like...
Okay. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page.
Dude, I think that's exactly right. I've been saying Brainiac since like 4 years ago, before I knew the first movie. And what you just described ties into what I think he would write, especially after High Evolutionary. And I think, you know what I mean? Like, that's such a great path. And I also think James is very aware of the world's issues. And I think that AI is accelerating this last year. Like, I mean, it's going to be exponential. But I think that the villain that is Brainiac will need to be told before it's just topical. Like, I think we need to get him in fiction before it's just the world. Like, I think about those West Hollywood robots all the time. And I think it's so scary that people are just filming them and normalizing it. Like, they gave them like rainbow shawls and give them office sound bites. That way people think it's like a meme. And the meta-modernist nature of making something terrifying naturalized is going to make people way more adjusted to a robot walking around you, so that when they start being like cop bots and cameras monitoring us and working and taking over jobs, it's going to be like, oh yeah, we've had those guys, we've been filming them. Oh, suddenly it's not funny anymore. Oh wait, too late, government already owns these robots. So I think we need Brainiac before we just have death bots.
It's kind of crazy how artificial intelligence has been in fiction for decades, and now there's more stories doing it, and people think it's just because of like modern day relevancy, when it's like, no, when are we going to learn our lesson? When is this cautionary tale going to be a caution we take serious? It
hasn't worked yet. Fiction hasn't helped us to scale yet, and I feel like Skynet, like the fact that James Cameron is like, AI is great and it's the future. I'm like, bruh, you're the reason a lot of us know about it. Like, you cautioned us 4 years ago. So I feel like we need Brainiac to at least slow some people from laughing at a robot existing. Because it's so scary.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
Brainiac's gonna be great.
What are some of the comments saying in the chat, John? In response to what we're saying, our great opinions.
Let me see here. I say Zod should have a super evil dog. That's what Star-Lord said. Gunn is making it up as he goes along, Tutorial Slave said. Shalem.
Let's pause for a second on that. Gunn is making it up as it goes along. What I love is that James Gunn is a writer-director. And what people often forget about is that pivots can happen because there's a thing called in creation process of discovery. So when you are writing or rewriting, or a lot of the times people talk about things coming through you, not like I have an idea, I have an outline, now let me just write what I have in mind. The idea is discovering what you want to do along the way, and allowing pivot. That's why I wasn't exactly like I loved when they announced it, but then in reflection, I was like, I'm not sure they should have announced all these movies for Chapter 1, because it feels like they have to make it like a finite plan at that point, when discovery is a big part of allowing the pivot game, you know?
I feel like that was for shareholders and to get confidence in the brand, and I think that is necessary. That's the unfortunate side of something that's $200 million, is you have to show a confident thing to launch something.
Yeah.
But from a creative side, like, yeah, Superman did well, and I got inspired to write more Superman. Why would I be shackled to something that I don't understand how people don't see the gift of a writer, director, CEO as a positive, because when he is inspired and wants to create something and it's as good as Superman, then that just lends to more. It's not a shackle, it's a benefit.
Yeah.
I think Marvel really messed up people's view of art. Period.
Yeah. There are a lot of great things